Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Secrets in the shadows, lost and found. Truth in every echo, loud and clear. Keep on with the long road, no more fear. In the halls of power, whispers grow. Every secret got beneath the undertone. Honest stories hidden in the glass. On this long road, in the truth we trust.
Well, welcome to The Long Road. I'm your host, Chris Roberts. Today, I was planning on having a really up-tempo show, but the news of the last 24 hours has changed it drastically. And what we're going to do today, the title of the show is Unintended Consequences. And there's a lot of consequences that I don't think most of the Americans understood. And we like to pride ourselves the land of the free and the home of the brave. If you cannot think for yourself, it doesn't matter how much they say you're free or think you're free, you're not free. Freedom, the most important part of freedom is the ability to think for yourself and reach your own conclusions. Because I don't care how brave you are. If you can't think for yourself, that is wasted bravery. We used to have a news organization that would give us news and would give us critical news, important news. Okay, not to belittle stuff because it's important to the people it affects. Okay, on the news the other day, I heard about someone going in and shooting a lot of people in Canada. How does that affect me? How does that affect my family? How does that affect the safety of my community? Okay? Or, yes, there was a train that was hijacked in Pakistan. Again, how does that affect me? How does it affect my family? Okay? Look at all the stuff that we watch on TV, the so-called news. Listen to what we hear on local radio. I don't hear very much news about local radio. I don't hear about, hey, this is what this individual did to improve our community. We hear garbage. We hear stuff that has no effect whatsoever on us, and it's quickly forgotten. We have news that says we can't tell them the truth because it's like the old movie, Officer. I can't even think of the thing. You can't handle the truth. No, that's not the news's decision to sell whether I can handle the truth or not. But they don't want to tell us the truth. Then you have political parties that will say, you know what? If you tell the people what we want you to tell the people, you become our puppets, we will give you more access. We will give you access to sources that are not able to give you their names because of the sensitivity of their positions, but they will give you information that you can't verify. So both sides have done it, and now we have worthless news stations. We have worthless newspapers. And so that's the part that kind of really irritates me. We had people who were so afraid to question Donald Trump when he wanted to run for president that they would step aside and not say anything. And there's numerous quotes. There's a special place in hell for individuals who refuse to step up and speak when they knew something serious was going wrong. Well, that special place in hell is not restricted just to Republicans. It's restricted to Democrats too. When we go now and we find out how long was Joe Biden incoherent? How long was Joe Biden's automatic pen signing stuff? Okay? It's just going back and forth. Now I look at Donald Trump, he's all over the place. He's saying this, then he's saying that, back and stuff. You know, is he in a coherent state of mind that he can go what he says, he means, or nope, he said this, then he changes this, then he changes that? If it was your mom, your father, you would start worrying, start questioning is, you know what? Maybe we need to question their ability to make a competent decision and stick with it. And so after looking at what Joe Biden we went through with Joe Biden the last 4 years, and then we look at Donald Trump, hit so much changes that he's done. Oh, we'll go to 25. No, we'll go to 50. No, we'll go back to 25. No, we'll start at Monday. No, we'll start it next week. Next, we'll start next. Over and over and over. We're getting whiplash listening to what's going on. And so we have so many unintended consequences going on. And what I'm going to go through, I'm going to show through 4 short videos during the course of this show today. And you know what? I would like you to look at them, think of them, reflect on them. There's nothing evil or anything about the videos. They're about important everyday Americans who believe in the home of the free, and not only do that, they believe that America is the home of the brave. They're willing to display their bravery to keep America the home of the free. But by the end of the show, there's going to be one unintended consequence that you may not even realize. And so we're going to roll the first short video right now. And on some of them, I don't want you to get overwhelmed or underwhelmed by. Just watch them.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
It may be a commercial for Marines. Yes, I'm a Marine. I'm partial to my fellow Marines, but I'm not trying to enlist anybody today. There's going to be a pattern that you might be able to pick up. But as you show and hear, it's showing that, you can go into the Marine Corps. You're not going to be Marine Corps, hopefully not for a lifetime. You go in, you get benefits, you grow as a person in the Marine Corps, and you return from the Marine Corps. You may always have that Marine Corps pride, but you become a productive member of your community, and you're there when the community needs it. And you may be there helping the community when they don't even know about it. Okay, today, it was last night's news, but today the Department of Education just laid off 50% of their workforce. The president wants to get rid of the Department of Education, but he can't get rid of the Department of Education. Department of Education was created by Congress, and Congress has to get rid of it. Well, in the United States, we do not have one set national minimum standard in the country. Japan, Singapore, China, Europe, Germany, they all have standards. Yes, we want our children to be able to read at a certain level. We want them to be able to write. We want math, science. But you know what? In the United States, we can let every single community set their own standard. Okay? And a lot of communities go and set their standard. You know what? We got a lot of poor people here. We got a lot of people of color here. Why would we want to educate them? Because if we educate them, they come competitive with my children. So if we have 100 poor children and we give them the opportunity of the same education standards as our children, and some of those children really bust hump. They stay up night studying. They're studying at the weekend. They're doing everything. And 10% of them far exceed expectations. And so if those 10% exceed expectations and get high, and there's only 100 slots in this exclusive school, these 10% are now more qualified than the 100 people that thought they were going to get in. So 10%, 10 of those kids who thought they were guaranteed a spot in that school can't get in, because if we're going just based on a standard, and this is the standard, these 10 kids fail to reach the standard. So, But these people who expected their kids to get in are now upset because their kids did not get in. You can say, well, no, that didn't happen. Well, you can go back, look in the early 1900s, when Rockefeller was spending donating millions of dollars to set an education standard around the country for the majority of the people. Not all the students, but the majority. That standard was to create workers. Workers that followed the system and did what they're told and cost employees very little money to train. And on the other side, we talk about, well, blacks weren't allowed to go to school, separate, equal, and everything. Do you know that places like California and stuff put limits on where Chinese kids can go to school, where Mexicans kids go to school? It wasn't just blacks. It was blacks in the South, but some of the real liberal states try to hide that they were doing same to other children of color. If you were a Native American, you had to go to an Indian school where we stripped you of your Native American heritage and made you a white heritage Indian. You can go back and you can look at a lot of the big schools like Harvard and Yale and stuff like that said, we're going to put a percentage on. We can only so many Jews will allow to come to our school. We are going to limit the number of Jews coming to our school. Why? Because back then they didn't really consider Jews really white people. And so, bingo, because you had Russian Jews, Polish Jews, all those, and Slavic people and stuff like that, they weren't exactly considered white people. Italians and Irish weren't considered white people until it became advantageous to some of the groups in the United States. So if we let too many Jews who are considered non-white into these schools, that would eliminate opportunities for white students. Okay, so it went on and it goes, holy crap, now we're having a problem. There's too many Asian people going in there and wanting, and their scores and everything are really high. And based on their scores and everything, they should be accepted into these elite schools. But you know what? Can't do that. We got to eliminate, put a cap on how many Asian students can go to Harvard and Yale. So we create what's called a whole person concept. So we go and say, yes, you are such and such. Yes, you meet all these scores. You get a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1. And then, community violence, bang, bang, bang. Then we have this little category. It's like leadership, growth potential, or whatever. And we give you a low score. And so we were able to boop up so more people got in. So the Asian people were considered the nice minorities, not like the blacks and Hispanics and stuff like that. And so that's what they were fighting. And so in the meantime, you have a group of white parents, this group, every time their kid did not get into one of these top-notch schools, they said it had to do with affirmative action. So a couple of black kids got into school. Okay? So it kept going back and forth, back and forth. And Asian, South Korean, Chinese, Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, India, Pakistan. Here was a little, okay, we had quotas on Chinese and Japanese and other people coming into the country. So we allowed highly educated, highly skilled, trained people to come in. These individuals placed a very important emphasis on education, far greater than the vast majority of American families placed on education. And so it kept going back and forth. And so what was happening, you have one group is saying, excuse me, you know, the reason your son or daughter didn't get into an elite university because affirmative action, and because of affirmative action, or the new code word was DEI, some unqualified person got in that took your kid's place. No different in the 70s and 80s when it goes and says, when the company goes, you know what, hey Bill, I really wanted to give you a job, but I had to give it to that black guy over there. If I wasn't forced by affirmative action to give it to that black guy, I would have gave it to you. Oh, Bill is really ticked off. Well, what happens? Well, I tell Bill, I tell John, I tell James, I tell all these people. And so the black guy gets the job, but now I got 50 to 100 people who've been told by the hiring manager, if it wasn't for that black guy, you guys would all have that one job. I think a kindergarten or a first grade kid would be able to figure out that math. So, what's happening here? We now have people saying, you black guy, you're not qualified. My son is qualified, and the law is working against me because I'm hard working, busting my hump, and my son deserves to be that fireman, be that policeman, be in that college. Not you or your son or your daughter. What did the Japanese and Chinese do? Hey, give you an example. I know someone got married, Chinese person got married to a person with an Anglo-Saxon name, last name, had children. Both of the children have Anglo-Saxon first names, and they have Anglo-Saxon last names, but their middle names are Chinese. This person is a doctor, and you go, why would they do that? Why? Because when this person's child applies for Harvard or Yale, they may see, oh, William Smith, Andrew Robinson, and all they'll see, or Susan Jones, and then all they'll see is the middle initial. So when the person is looking at that, they will develop a totally different view of that person based on their biases. So we're going to get ready to run the next video. It won't be that long. And see if you can pick up some things in this video.
Komok noi lin mai. Ndakova.
Barbara Riley?
Yes?
Ma'am, it's about your husband. Something's been recovered. We verified the identification tags for authenticity, and I assume you can speak to the validity of the ring.
I knew the moment I saw it. We had it engraved on our first anniversary. With you forever. Was there anything else?
Ma'am, that's all the fisherman and his son found. But they did give us a location, which means the excavation team knows where to begin the search.
Bless their hearts.
Barbara, this is just a first step, but we're going to do everything we can to find him.
Bring him home.
That one was kind of tough because it is a very emotional one, and I've had to make casualty calls, and I did have to make a call concerning an individual that was killed in the Mayaguez incident. So let's look at some. So we have no standard of education in the United States. Massachusetts had a standard that would, if it had been a country, it would have ranked Massachusetts about 5th in the world. But people got together to lower the standard, saying that you no longer have to pass the MCAS to get a high school diploma in the state of Massachusetts. They said, well, there's about 700 to 1,000 kids every year who can't get a high school diploma because they failed the MCAS 3 times. The people weren't doing it to make it easier to let a group of people that fail feel good about themselves. They were doing it to eliminate competition. Down south, basically, it wasn't until after the Civil War that even white kids could get an education. A lot of the red states had no desire to give their kids a quality education because a quality education means that the individuals would demand more money, would be unwilling to work for such low wages, or they may start thinking for themselves and start questioning a number of things. When you go look at World War II, a lot of people who went into World War II went in with a 4th to 6th grade education. After World War II, we had the GI Bill. From 46 to 73, we had the quality of education in the United States exploded because there was money available for kids to go to school. The majority of them just got their high school diploma. A lot of them got trades. More went to college. No longer was the, the top 20% of the kids got to go to college. The other ones went to trade or tech school. They were being tracked. Well, something came along. Jobs were being moved overseas. First, they would be moved from the north down to the south, and then were overseas. Then what happened? It was like, oh, we don't need all these technical jobs and all this other kind of stuff. So then we go in, and colleges go to Congress and everything. Hey, we're starting to close. What can we do? So here's great. We'll just get rid of that evil word tracking, and then we'll go in and make everybody train everybody to go to college. Not everybody has the skills, the aptitude, or even a desire to go to college. Maybe I want to be an electrician. Maybe I want to design pools. Maybe I want to be a construction worker. I'll work 6 to 3, get off early, get my weekends off, enough to build a house and stuff and have freedom. I don't want to sit in a cubicle 5 days a week, 9 to 5. This is what I like to do. But people were told, no, that's not what you like to do. We will tell you what you like to do. So now, when education comes, who are you going to run to? Who are you going to ask questions about? What about this? What about that? Could you even trust the person that you're asking? Could you trust the government worker who's worrying about losing their job, telling you the truth? An individual I know, his wife works for the VA. They hardly ever say anything. Oh, you can only speak no more than 9 minutes, no matter how difficult or whatever. You got 9 minutes and you got to end it. We got other ones, they're afraid to say anything because AI is recording and analyzing this. That's really 1984, more and more. And so when we were saying we're going to get rid of 80,000 workers from the VA, well, the unintended consequences is the people who are working there are going to be governed by AI who will flag them if they speak too long or they say the wrong word. The VA right now, you want to put a claim in, you have 8 pages of instructions to fill out 5 pages. And if you come and see me, I can fill out those pages within 20 minutes because I know, but the people who go to VA will not get answers to those questions. They'll ask you, what do you want to put down? And even thought they can go, that is really wrong. That's definitely going to get denied because you didn't put it in the right format. Or you didn't put it, that was a secondary condition. That was aggravated. Well, you don't even know the difference. That's all right. We're not going to say anything. This is what you put down. We'll deny it because you put the wrong thing down. So we weren't looking at that. So, who's going to help the schools if they have questions? What's the standards? Okay. So do we go back to the old place when it was really bad, where if you lived in a really, really wealthy community, you got a top-notch education, which paving your way to go to an elite college? Well, you other kids don't get, you may get a 6th grade education, and we'll give you a 12th grade diploma, but you may be reading at a 6th grade education, which means that a lot of colleges will have to go out of business because the kids will not be educated enough to go to college. Because right now we have kids who are totally unprepared to go to college, being accepted into college, colleges knowing they're going to flunk out with a lot of debt, but it pays the college's bills. Okay, well, I don't think anybody was planning on that. Well, maybe the people up here making the decisions were, but the mom and pop, the average hardworking, and even if we just say, for the sake of argument, middle-class America was not expecting that. And so we'll get ready to roll the next clip. And
they shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We gather here today with a shared attitude of gratitude. 23 centuries ago, so Plutarch tells us, an old Spartan king observed, it is not the places that grace men, but men grace the places. In a world awash with change, some things stand firm. Some things are, as Plato said, good and true and beautiful.
1 January 2018, during Operation
If you have ever known one of the fallen, you've known greatness, but it is hard to be content with their silence, for we miss them. The empty chair on a holiday, empty every day. The photograph that goes wherever you do, the picture fades, but the person in it does not. Their fighting spirit persists, passed down through the ranks. Their spirit echoes in those who serve today in the air, on land, and at sea. No words will ease your pain, but I beg you, let it have meaning. Unite your sorrow to their awesome purpose. People do grace places, but people also grace people. We are blessed by our time with those now asleep, the mighty and the gentle. Let us share their story with others, then, like the poet, we all can say, sleep, soldiers, still in honored rest, your truth and valor wearing. The bravest are the tenderest, the loving are the daring.
Again, another short and pretty powerful clip. Okay, Department of Transportation says basically, like we said earlier, a couple shows ago, and now have gone and confirmed it and said, hey, if you want to get money from the Department of Transportation, you better increase your marriage rate, and you bet to increase your birth rate, because that's where we're going to put the money in. We're going to put the money with that has a high sense of Christian morals and has high family values by increasing the birth rate. Well, here's the catch. If I'm pretty wealthy and I have generational wealth and I've got a lot of money set aside and I can afford to have 2, 3, even 4 kids, or like the Secretary of Transportation, 9 children. Because we all know it takes a lot of money to have children. And so, but the person that goes to college, graduates college, $40,000, $50,000 in debt, then gets a job that may pay, say a teacher in Keene will pay you $45,000 a year. You'll pay $1,400 a month in rent. You'll have your car payment. You'll have your loan repayments. You know, all those different things. And, where do you have time to save money so you can have children? I don't think so. And so we're going into is, why is America having less children? Because America costs. How it goes, the news comes out today is, inflation is doing good. It's far less than expected. Wait a minute. If inflation in January was 2.5, inflation in February was 2.8, how do you say inflation is doing good? Oh, it's doing good because the government expected it to be 3.0. Kind of a setup there. Okay? We want to throw tariffs. We're going back and forth, back and forth. Since President Trump's been president, the stock market's lost about $4 trillion. Guess what? A lot of the people who have 401ks and IRAs, their money is in the stock market. Just think, you lost 10% of your money. We just rounded off, so depending where you were, you're going to lose more. So you lost 10% of your money. What does that do for your retirement plans? You're 64 years old and you're planning on retiring next year and you just lost 10%. Well, you were never expecting that to happen. That was unintended. And so we're going to roll the last clip of the day.
For Marines, we love the adrenaline of being around chaos. You gotta push hard, you gotta keep going, you gotta get better every time.
If you stop, then you're just not gonna make it in this job. As a Marine, you have to be hard-nosed and just get after it.
I keep going to prove myself and to show other females that we can do it.
The trucks are kind of like the puzzles. The vehicles move Marines, move equipment, move weapons. That vehicle goes down, they're losing an asset to keep Marines in the fight.
We have to make sure that Marines land safely, get back, get their rest and recovery, so they can go out and continue the fight.
I have people that depend on me to be able to show them the capability of the system that they've probably never seen before. That's why I specifically joined the Marine Corps. It's because I've always strived to be the best version of myself. The Marine Corps had the toughest recruit training, the longest ones. If there's a challenge out there, I'm willing to take it on.
You know what you're doing is your life's calling. I believe that this country offers a lot of opportunities to a lot of people, and I would like to continue those freedoms for future generations.
Joined the Marine Corps because I wanted to fight for my country.
If you wanna do something, you better do it big. I honestly wanted to leave my name on the books, and there's no better place than the Marine Corps.
No one in my family had joined any sort of military service, so I felt like I was going off on my own adventure.
I've always enjoyed pushing myself, always enjoyed physical fitness and leading others, and the Marine Corps gave me the best opportunity to build on those skills.
I'm a part of a brotherhood that is like no other.
I'm not here alone. There's always someone next to me. It's such a melting pot of different culture. It's just so different.
I don't know if you necessarily know why you're made for something. When I'm doing it, it feels right.
There's never a challenge too hard for me to accomplish.
It's just in my blood. It's who I am.
If you're here in the Marines doing this kind of training, you are supposed to be here.
You've been trained for this. No one is just a Marine randomly. You have to put in the work to actually be a Marine.
It takes mental toughness, it takes grit, heart, and just wanting to be the best.
It doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you really want it, you can get it.
It's like you kind of put yourself in awe of what you can actually do.
People want to say it's the warrior mindset, that you can take the easy route or you could go the more difficult, untraveled route.
If you're gonna do something, do it full throttle. The Marine Corps is the hardest thing you can do. So if you want a challenge, like this is where you need to go.
I'm a machine gunner, 0331.
I'm a 0311 infantryman.
0811 artillery cannon.
3529 maintenance chief.
7257 air traffic patrol.
41 electrician.
0802 artillery officer.
7521 technician.
Navigational technician.
Tactical data system administrator.
I stated that I was quite upset in the beginning of the show, and I'm still upset. I'm even more upset because I was watching those 4 videos, and I know I wasn't fair to anybody who was watching today's show, because I knew the reason why I picked those videos, and because of the reason why I picked those videos, it's extremely heartbreaking and disappointed. Okay. Under direction of the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense has ordered a DEI purge. of Department of Defense's video, photo, website archive. And there's a good chance you will never, ever again get to see the three of the ones that have U.S. the Marines at the end, because they failed to meet the anti-DEI requirement. Tens of thousands of photos, videos, film, a whole bunch of stuff has been ordered purged from the Department of Defense database. For people who live in New Hampshire, Enola Gay, Lieutenant Colonel that was flying Enola Gay, who dropped the first atomic bomb, any picture or name or anything concerning Enola Gay, that aircraft, has been purged from the system. We don't know if they're going to be permanently destroyed. There's people in there trying to take snapshots of them, so in case they're destroyed, that somehow they can copy them or reprint them. They'll never be good as the original, but the ship is gay. The word gay has now been purged from the Department of Defense database. We're running into a problem for all those people who have their name gay. Basically, the vast majority of the Pentagon's purged targets women and minority, including notable milestones made in the military. And it also removes a large number of posts that mention various commemorative months, such as Black History and Hispanic History and Women Months. They're gone. Department of Defense says they're gone. In some cases, photos seem to be flagged for removal simply because their file includes the word gay, including service members with the last name and an image of the B-29 aircraft, Enola Gay, which dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima. Several photographs of the Army Corps of Engineer dredging projects in California were marked for deletion, apparently because a local engineer in the photo had the last name of Gay. Many of the images listed in the database already have been removed. Others were simply visible Thursday and were not clear if they would be taken down at some point or allowed to stay, including images of the historically significant, such as those as the Tuskegee Airmen. The Air Force briefly removed new recruit training courses that included video of the Tuskegee Airmen after Trump's order. A picture that was removed was PFC Harold Gonzalez, 19-year-old Marine. What was PFC Gonzalez's claim to fame? He was awarded the Medal of Honor. So when you heard the former defense secretary talking about people passing, not one single person there in uniform would have cared about Gonzalez's last name or the color of his skin. They cared about the fact that he was a brave American fighting and dying to protect our freedom. Images removed. PFC Cristina Fuentes Montenegro, the first woman to qualify to join a Marine Infantry battalion. The reason I picked Marines, yes, I'm a Marine, but the Marine Corps is the only service that requires every single member to meet a non-negotiable standard, the crucible. If you can go to 13 weeks of boot camp, you fail to meet the crucible, you were thrown out. You can go into another service and they'll gladly accept you. If you come from another service, you still gotta go to the Marine Corps boot camp. It doesn't matter if you were a sergeant in the Army. It doesn't matter if you're a sergeant in Ranger Battalion. If you join the Marine Corps, you gotta go through the crucible. We all have a standard that every single Marine meets. Male, female, bisexual, gay, whatever, they all meet. Doesn't matter what color they are, they all meet. Plain and simple, you have to meet the standard of being a Marine. And every single one of these things that I showed you today had people of color, had women in there. And the only thing that we as Marines would worry about, the only color, two colors, battle dress and dress blues. Not DEI, but battle dress and dress blues. This is an unintended consequence that we can't afford to live with.